Since the next project is on running, I don't really need a bridge to move to the Yellow Ribbon Run, giving second chances to people with a criminal history. So the so-called Yellow Ribbon Run is an initiative that was started in Singapore with the aim to draw the attention to the importance of reintegration and giving a second chance to persons with a criminal past. And this project will be presented by Gabriela Slovakova. Gabriela is the initiator of the Yellow Ribbon Run project in the Czech Republic. Gabriela has worked in several positions in the Czech prison service and since 2010 as a governor in women and men prisons. She has been involved in many international projects, and I also had the great pleasure to work with her in our Europress expert group on children of prisoners. And so it's very good to see you back here, Gabriela, and good luck with your presentation. The floor is yours. You are still on mute, so you have to unmute yourself, please.
Okay. So, hello everybody, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's quite funny to speak after David because I also wear a yellow ribbon, but it has nothing to do with Catalonia, Barcelona, but it's a symbol of American soldiers actually from Vietnam War. So our Singaporean friends found this symbol when the American soldiers came home after the war and their family was still waiting for them. They were supposed to tie a yellow ribbon around an old tree, and it was a sign that the person is welcome. So that's what I've learned. The symbol means for running and for the Yellow Ribbon Project. Thanks, Kirsten, for introduction, and I'll start because I know everybody is either hungry or sleepy after lunch, so I will try to entertain you for a few minutes. Well, Yellow Ribbon, it's like my little baby, because when I first saw it, I was impressed that it's possible that prisoners are running. And I brought a vision that we want to create a society which provides second chances for people with criminal history and their families to live a decent life. It's very difficult to persuade society outside that prisoners are human beings, and you all know it. And I think sport and joint activities with community are the best way how to do it. I want to thank my colleague Mirka Jakešová from Probation and Mediation Service for preparing this presentation for me. And you can see that it's not only my activity, but we created a platform. So Yellow Ribbon Run is organized by the Czech Prison Service, Probation and Mediation Service, and the Rubicon Center, which is an NGO who helps ex-offenders with a new start, especially the first few months after release. They find to create jobs and find accommodation and give a great support. So on the picture you can see from the left-hand side Andra, which is the head of Probation and Mediation Service, myself, Tomáš, who is a very famous Czech sportsman and promoter of our race, and he's also awarded by Olympic Committee for fair play, and he just gained the Be Active Local Hero European Prize in 2020. And his life history is also very complicated. He almost ended up in prison, and that's why he understands it's so important to support people who are willing to start again. And on the right-hand side, Dasha, she's a director of Rubicon Center. So this is our little team. We are not as professional. We don't have any state granting. We just a group of people very enthusiastic to promote this theme about integration of prisoners, because we all work many years with inmates, and we still trust that there's a better way than recidivism. On the next slide, you can find a mission of our project, and a motto is run away from prejudice and give a second chance. Of course, the biggest issue is to create a public awareness and support of people leaving the prison, and provide a second chance for people with criminal past as well as their families, connect them with employers, and contribute to crime prevention, decrease in recidivism rate, and safety in community. It sounds great, but as everybody else said, it's important to try to save even a few people, because you save a lot of money, and you can show the others that there's another way how to behave outside, and I think it's really important. Of course, the biggest part when we started was to create work opportunities for people with criminal past, because there's still a stigma that ex-offender cannot live a decent life, and therefore there used to be a problem to find a job or living space after release. And therefore we want to break prejudice and promote the topic of rehabilitation and integration through sport. Who we are. So I want to introduce you on the next slide, our Yellow Ribbon Runners. We started as a small group of 32 people, just a few offenders who ran in Prague, but within 5 years we have runners from current offenders, people with criminal past and their families, managers, lawyers, judges, our prison service staff, even guards or expert staff, psychologists, social workers, probation and mediation service staff, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Labor, NGOs, business people or celebrities. I don't know, you might not know our Czech famous sportsman, but we have a big supporter, Jiří Ježek, who is a paracyclist, and others. Of course, we were thinking how to choose participants. So the prisoner who wants to run outside the prison has to fulfill the program of treatment and has to show some effort that he or she really wants to get the chance to take part in the project. Sometimes we start slowly. Anybody in the prison can start sporting activity or running activity, not only in our prison, but in all the prisons in the Czech Republic. And those who really show the interest and some effort can be chosen to take part in the run outside the prison. Of course, we focus on the person. We try to push an inmate not only to go to sports, but also to work on his or her reintegration. They also have to write a life story and agree with public presentation, because it's difficult to protect the newspaper people to take pictures. So it's quite a challenge, but still we have lots of people who are willing to join. And it's a good sign that they are not ashamed, but they want to show the public they want to get the chance, and their families come to support. So it's really a nice activity. I think it's important also for ex-offenders, because they keep coming back every year and they talk to media, they can present they are ex-offenders, they did a good job, they have families, they have jobs. So it's, I would say, 100% positive activity, or optimistic, because positive sounds horrible in these times, but optimistic activity. And people with criminal past bring their families, children, and they feel they belong to our group of runners. And also what was important within those 5 years, that the prison staff employees At the beginning, they didn't want to take part so much because it's not part of our culture to cooperate with prisoners so closely on, for example, sporting level. But now we have many people running, and you can see a little change of the prison climate, because when you sweat next to somebody, then it's very difficult to be strict. So finally you see the runners saying hi to each other, no matter if it's a prisoner or a prison guard or prison psychologist or myself. So the others, it's like it's like a disease, because everybody wants to be in, and we have more and more participants, and you can see really positive personal changes on both sides. So on a little overview, as you heard from Kirsten, this activity started in Singapore in 2004. And when I used to be a board member of ICPA, which you might know is an International Corrections and Prisons Association, it's a worldwide organization. I used to be a board member, and one of the conferences took place in Singapore, and the board was invited to run a yellow ribbon run. So nobody knew what it is, and when I saw people running in the center of Singapore, there were like 10,000 people wearing a yellow ribbon t-shirt. I was shocked, and I was happy to see it, and I was 100% sure I want to bring this idea to the Czech Republic. You might see that it took me 5 years to start, because it was quite difficult to persuade people that we want to really bring the current prisoners outside the prison walls to the Prague Center and run with them. It was also difficult to find the partners at the beginning, or maybe it wasn't so difficult, but I wasn't strong enough to present that I want to gain money for running with prisoners. But surprisingly, we started in 2016, and we got many supporters from private sector companies. So when they heard there are people willing to change, and they are prepared to be good employees, they started to be more and more interested in this topic. And first year we only had 32 runners, but we took part in the Prague Marathon, which is a great run with thousands of people. And we started as a relay team, and some of the best runners could also run a Prague Marathon, the whole 42 kilometers. So it created, first of all, the public shock and media attention, because if you say there are prisoners running in the center of Prague among thousands of people, they kept asking, are the guards going to supervise them, and what happens if somebody runs away? And it was a good platform to explain that there's no reason that person who is, for example, to be released in 6 months, why should he or she run away from Prague? Because it's the only chance to present her or himself that they are good citizens and they can be part of society. So it was quite nice that the first year, even we only had 32 runners, we had great public and media attention. And then we continued, and in 2018, one of the prisoners wrote a Yellow Ribbon song. So it's like our autumn, because everybody knows it from our runners. And it's about asking for getting a second chance. And it's very nice, but it's in Czech, so I won't play it for you because you wouldn't probably understand. And then we started with other activities. We got a new ambassador, which is a famous Czech actor, Petr Čtvrtníček, and he helped us to gain more and more attention, because when actors and famous persons present Yellow Ribbon, of course, people started to be interested. And we also had a chance to record another song about prison life with a famous Czech singer. And we came to 2020, which was a difficult year because of the epidemic. But we learned a lot because we had a virtual run, and we realized that we don't need to bring everybody to Prague, but many prisoners can run behind the prison walls. So then we decided that in 2021 we will bring some of current inmates to the race, but most of them can stay and train and run virtually in the prisons. So we got more and more participants. So please cross the fingers for us, because we planned the run for mid-June and the situation doesn't look very optimistic, but we still have some backup plan to run in September. So if you plan to spend holidays in the Czech Republic, you can always join us. So what I want to mention, the main idea, we started a relay version of the run, which means people have to pass a symbolic relay pin or relay stick to each other. And it's like a symbol, because you see hundreds of people. The last year we had I think around 600 participants, and nobody knows who is who. So people see me, but they don't know I'm a prison governor. People see somebody who looks very nice, but it can be a prisoner. And we pass the relay pin to each other, banker to prison staff to NGO staff to current inmate. And this, I think, helps inmates to feel like human beings, because nobody would ask the next runner, are you an inmate or are you an owner of a company? We just run and we enjoy. Everybody's nice to each other. And then we bring it back to the prison. So this is our main idea. And when we invited our Singaporean friends, we realized that I didn't understand quite well when I visited Singapore in 2011, because the current inmates never run outside in Singapore. But I persuaded our headquarters that in Singapore they can do it, we can also do it. So the Singaporeans are sort of inspired, and they are now planning to bring current inmates also outside the prison walls. So as I told you, we had many participants. In 2019, it was almost 600, and last year we had almost 400 in virtual run. Numbers of prisoners, current offenders, and people with criminal past participating are also growing. And I think it's also healthy to teach the inmates to achieve goals. We teach them of positive thinking, healthy lifestyle. Some of them stop smoking. Some of them say they could change one dependence to another, because many of them were drug users, but they feel the endorphins after running. So we hope running is good for everybody, no matter if you're a prisoner or not. Of course, we have partners. So just a short few sentences about partnership. We have financial partnership. These are Czech companies. Most of them employ prisoners, current prisoners, and they can also offer jobs for people with a criminal history. We have some funding grants from, for example, Prague City or one of the Czech regions or Norwegian embassy. We also planning to do some fundraising through theater game. And we have individual donors, supporters, and even ex-offenders who run with us are willing to pay the starting fee, which is about 15 to 20 euros. So that's how we work. On the next slide, you can see activities, because we are not only a run, we call our project the Yellow Ribbon Run, but it's important, as I mentioned, to create a public awareness. So we take part in expert discussions, seminars, workshops, conferences. We also had a great performance in Czech Senate. We organized press conferences, other activities, trainings, and many people from abroad took part in our run. For example, Singaporeans, Texas Prison Service, or Slovakians, or Irish Probation Service, just to show others want to continue in Yellow Ribbon activities. So we are willing to share any information if you're interested. On the next slide, the other activities, we also have a prison band, which is in our prison in Kuřim, and the famous actor is our drummer. So we either have performances during our Yellow Ribbon activities, or we do crime prevention on basic and secondary school. The prisoners go with the band to school, and they talk about their life and how did they ended up in prison and so on. We have some social media campaigns, and now we have outdoor exhibition taking place in center of big cities, showing our famous persons supporting Yellow Ribbon Second Chances. And we're planning to do some fundraising performance during the theater play run by our ambassador. Now, before I end up, I would like to play you a short video about our Yellow Ribbon 2020, so you can get a clue how it works.
Milí příznivci Yellow Ribbon, já jsem strašně šťastná, že jsme to dotáhli až k tiskovce v hotelu Hilton.
No já se těším na Žlutou stužku moc a celá ta minulá kapela už je v civilu za dobrý chování. A jsou v pohodě, mají práci, dělají všecko tak, jak bychom si přáli všichni, co na tom projektu děláme.
Tak jak už jsem řekl ve svém prvním vystoupení, já jsem velice rád, že v této opravdu velice těžké, složité, omezující době jsme nerezignovali na život, nerezignovali jsme na realizaci potřebných projektů, které pomáhají, a dnešním dnem je toho důkazem, kdy tady otevíráme výstavu lidí, osobností a zároveň běžců samotného běhu se Žlutou stužkou.
Symbolické zahájení 5. ročníku běhu se Žlutou stužkou, který jsme letos 3krát odložili, a nakonec jsme se dopracovali k úžasnému virtuálnímu běhu.
Myslím si, že ty příběhy vypoví možná více než mnoho různých koncepcí o tom, jak pracovat s lidmi, kteří se dostali do vězení a kteří se připravují na návrat na svobodu.
Berte ty kluky vážně, oni by opravdu se chtěli vrátit, i holky chtěli by se vrátit a být lepší, ale musí dostat nějakou práci a musí dostat nějaké bydlení a nesmíme se jich štítit. Proto jsem tu.
Je mi opravdu strašně blízký to, že jsem sám byl kluk, který hodně času trávil na ulici.
Vybíháme virtuální běh pro žlutou stužku. Děkujeme všem, kteří letos virtuálně poběží s námi a i v takto náročné době podporují lidi s trestní minulostí, naše rodiny a děti. Dnes víc než kdy jindy potřebujeme vaši pomoc. Děkujeme. Běžíme. Běžíme s námi.
Friends of the Czech Prison Service, Probation Service and Rubicon. Greetings, I'm Desmond, Commissioner of the Singapore Prison Service.
I'm Yong Lee and I will be the new Commissioner after Desmond retires in September. Singapore started the Yellow Ribbon Project in 2004 to create awareness and acceptance in giving second chances to ex-offenders.
I'm very glad that the Czech Republic's Yellow Ribbon Run has helped advance public awareness and acceptance of ex-offenders in the Czech Republic community. I had the privilege of joining you in the Czech Republic for the 2018 run, and it was a remarkable success, with prisoners, ex-offenders, business leaders, and prison staff all participating together.
We look forward to reading more Yellow Ribbon success stories in the Czech Republic. Together, let us continue to unlock the second prison for offenders.
Okay, so there are two more slides, but I think it's just a closing and invitation for our 6th edition. We will have also a special run for kids and chill out zone. And it's always a great fun because we spend the whole day in the park with our families, prisoners' families. So if you're planning to spend some time with us, we are happy. If you want to send your team or some colleagues to learn what we do, you're more than welcome to contact me. And you can find us on Facebook, social media, or there's a web page, www.yellowribbon.cz. So I'm happy to assist with any questions or whatever you need. And thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much, Gabriela. Very nice to see how your idea from Singapore developed really well in the Czech Republic. And I think what we have seen from the other presentations as well, this is about running, and it's not just about running. Of course, the running is a kind of excuse in a way to promote what is happening also in prisons, to have a better communication to the community, to politicians, to the media, what kind of people prisoners actually are and what prison services do to bring them back into the community. I think that's, apart from the running and the health and the joy of running, I think that's a very important aspect. And I found it very interesting that you mentioned also that it can actually kind of build bridge or change. I mean, culture change is something that takes a very long time, and it's very difficult. But then if you, like you mentioned, that the relationship between prison officers and prisoners, which is a bit more distant in the Czech Republic, as it is in some other countries as well, that it brings them closer together, to accept them as human beings with whom you can communicate on a similar level. I think that's also a very interesting side effect, you could say, from this project.
Exactly.
Let me see. There are no questions coming in yet. Just congratulations on this very good project. I think because of time constraints, I will not ask a question to you now, Gabriela, but just wish you good luck with the, I think, further development of the Yellow Ribbon Run. I'm sure it's now something that is there, and it will be there to stay for a very long period, forever, maybe.
I hope so. Thank you.